Africa.
It is 10 after 12 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Hundreds of Ethiopians from the Tigray region have fled into neighbouring Sudan following weekend clashes between regional forces and the Ethiopian National Defence Force. The fighting is reported to be the most serious confrontation since the end of the devastating civil war, which claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. The renewed violence has raised fears that the fragile peace establishment under the African Union brokered Pretoria Agreement, formerly known as the Cessation of Hostilities Agreement, signed in 2022, could be at risk. And for more on this, we are joined on the line by Dr David Matsanga, a political scientist and a conflict resolution analyst. Dr Matsanga, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you very much, Lulu, for inviting me.
Okay.
I am here in this capital city of Netherlands, Amsterdam.
Dr. Matsanga, there's a lot that's happening on the African continent, and just when you think some parts of the continent there is a bit of calm that is now, established and continuing. This past weekend, clashes between regional forces and the Ethiopian National Defence Force have been described as the most serious clashes since the 2022 Pretoria Agreement. What appears to have triggered this latest escalation?
First of all, when the agreement was hammered, I told people, I was in Johannesburg by then, you interviewed me. And I was saying, when you interviewed me later on, I told the world that this agreement might not last. Why? We had done it wrongly. We did not bring all the groups on board. We did one group between the government and Tigray, TPLF. We left some other groups, interested parties. I told Obasanjo and the President Uhuru Kenyatta that this might not hold. I even prophesied here, predicted here on this program of yours, that this might be a dangerous moment for Africa because there would be chaos, other groups. There is one problem in our region, Eritrea. Nobody has reprimanded, brought Eritrea to books. We always forgive Eritrea, and Eritrea goes back to do bad manners. Every time. The conflict of Ethiopia, Tigray, Ethiopia and the other regions fighting around there. Eritrea has a hand. And the people in Africa don't speak their mind. I am the only African who says it, kill me if you want. But Eritrea is a bad apple in the Horn of Africa that is now creating to destabilize Ethiopia on their long-standing conflict, that it is fueling the conflict between Tigray, Ethiopia, and Tigray and other Amhara and other places. That is where the problem is.
Now, Dr. Matsanga, how concerned should the region be that this fighting could escalate into a wider conflict similar to the devastating civil war that ended in 2022? And as you say, why is Eritrea not being held to account?
I don't know why, because there's a terrible policy in the Red Sea. My brothers of the Atlantic Ocean have entered that Red Sea, and they are doing things that will create us a problem. I was on another program and I was telling the world that the entry of United States in the Red Sea wanting to boost the morale of the Egyptian army, the mighty army of Egypt versus the mighty army of Ethiopia. The rivalry in the dam issue of the River Nile waters has flown into the Red Sea channel, which touches now all the way to Somalia. And it touches all the way to Somaliland, comes back. And then there is a foreign power called United States of America across the Atlantic, very far away. That is involved in this. And this is going to bring a very terrible situation. They now can even use Eritrea to want to contain Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa has done so well. Abiy Ahmed has done great things for Addis Ababa. That's a leader in Africa I will never condemn, because he has done great things for this country called Ethiopia. If you go to Addis Ababa now, it's like a Dubai. It's becoming a good Dubai of Africa. So for me, I give credit where it is due. But my brothers, the bigger brothers of America, who have rejected all forms of peace, which I push for, are the ones causing the chaos in the Red Sea. And why they cannot account, why cannot bring Ethiopia, Eritrea to book, is only God who knows why they do these things.
Dr. Matsanga, now let's look at Sudan, where Eritreans are now, finding comfort or running away from their home country, Ethiopia, to Sudan, and Sudan is already grappling with its own civil war and humanitarian crisis. What additional pressure could an influx of refugees from Ethiopia, from Tigray, place on Sudan?
One of the meetings that we conducted down here in this region where I am, it is something that is very paining everybody. Sudan is already an area of no-go zone, humanitarian catastrophe. 150,000 people slaughtered, dead, they are gone. We have lost people. We have lost people to people who cannot have food, people who cannot have access to water, to medicine, to schools, to clothes, to shelter are in Sudan. 10 million of them, or over 10 million people displaced internally. We can't reach them. If you have another exodus of refugees leaving Ethiopia to go into Sudan, we are having a catastrophe. Human beings are dying. African leaders, wake up and let's talk about peace. I am a peace envoy. I'm a peace envoy I do it to make sure to loud advocate for peace in Africa. I always tell my American friends, let's seek peace to avoid war. Let's seek peace dialogue to avoid war. We should bring all these warring parties. The Sudan issue must have two generals, both of them brought on table by hook or crook. We should not keep quiet and watch and give statements all the time. Oh, this. No. Don't condemn one general and leave the other one. All of the generals have committed. They are fighting with bullets. They are not fighting with water. So when you have refugees leaving Ethiopia and now going Tigray, going into Sudan, where will they go? What will they have there? It's another catastrophe. Death is going to increase. Children will die. Old women will die. This is a human rights genocide which is taking place around that region, must be stopped. And I've always been there, and I will stand to call upon an organization that has died already. You know, this organization with Muhammad Yusuf in the chair. He doesn't know the left, he doesn't know the right, he doesn't know the center, he doesn't know the forward. Therefore, African Union must be reformed. And I agree with President Ruto of Kenya that African Union, until it is reformed, it is as dead as dodo.
Dr. Matsanga, we are going to have to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you very much, Lulu, all the time. Keep it going.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. That's Dr. David Matsanga, a political scientist and conflict resolution analyst, joining us on the line. It is 19 after 12 Central African time.
The African perspective is stronger because of your point of view. Happy Women's Month. Channel